Are you considering restoring the body on your MGB? Is the car dented? Is there rust behind the front wheels or in front of the rear wheels? Is the paint old and faded? Is it scratched? Does the car need to be media blasted down to the bare metal and repainted anew? Or perhaps you had a leak in the front windshield and over time, the floorboards are rotted and need to be replaced. Stick around for the 5th and final episode of Maggie's Total Body Restoration, where we discuss the steps needed to be taken after the body is painted and clear coated so it comes out looking as shiny and smooth as this. We'll also have one final meeting with the staff at British Body and Coachworks before we load Maggie on the trailer to get their final thoughts on Maggie's 6-month body restoration. Thanks for clicking on that link and welcome to another episode of Maggie's Makeover. I'm your guest host, Studio Steve. For those of you who are new, this channel is about the restoration of my beloved 1972 MGB called Maggie, who I drove back and forth through college, took off the road for over 40 years, and pulled her out of hibernation about 3.5 years ago to start this restoration. Now, if you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe, like, and share button so you'll get notified when the next episode comes out. Now, I know there's a number of you out there saying, oh my God, where did this guy get this amazing MG swag from? Well, I attended the Boston area MG Car Club's Winter Doldrums meeting. At that meeting, we have a great time. We celebrate the end of winter and the beginning of a new driving season. We usually have a raffle, but it's not like a normal raffle. It's a Yankee swap raffle. These items went really early in the raffle because, I mean, they're just great. I mean, look at them. But I was lucky enough to get one of the winning tickets at the end of the raffle. And there was a club member, Deb Hoyt, who graciously offered me these when I came calling. Deb, thank you so much for your generosity. These will be put to good use. Now, this is the 5th episode of a 5-part mini-series that documents the complete restoration of Maggie's body. In the previous episodes, we inspected Maggie after the media blasting. We then did all of the metal work, including cutting out Maggie's rust, putting in patch panels, replacing floorboards, and even replacing Maggie's front fender. The episode after that entailed this application of the shaping primer and how Maggie's body was sanded to get her lines perfect, having the car prepped for paint. Now, in our last episode, we watched Mark LeBlanc actually apply the primer sealer, the 4 coats of paint, and the 4 coats of clear coat. For those of you out there who have missed some of these episodes, the link to the complete playlist is right up here. Now, in this episode of Maggie's Makeover, we're going to travel back up to British Body and Coachworks because after the last 6 months, Maggie's body restoration is finally complete. We're going to get together with Glenn Luzon and understand exactly what he had to do to buff Maggie's clear coat into a mirror finish. We're going to assemble all of the people at British Body and Coachworks who worked on Maggie's body restoration and get their final thoughts on the project. I'm going to pay my last bar tab with the body shop, and I'm going to give you an update on where the cost of the project stands to date. And then finally, I'd like to introduce you to a very unique subscriber by the name of Robin Hicks. Robin lives in New Zealand. He's restoring his MG. I've had several back and forth conversations with him via email, and he has me so excited to reassemble Maggie. So that's the episode. Let's get in the car and head up to British Body and Coachworks. So then the car is painted.
Yep.
Right? Comes out of the paint booth.
Yep, 5 coats of clear.
5 coats of clear on top of that, and then
the green base. Yep.
And so right now, car's been painted. You're in the next phase of this, which is the final phase.
So I hard block the whole thing with 800 grit.
So you are sanding just the
sand
clear
the
coat.
whole car with this block and this block. So I sand everything so that I get it that flat. You have to have it flat. No peel, no dirt. You're taking a little dirt out of it. You're taking the peel out of it from the, from spraying.
Right.
You can't get a glass paint job without buffing. You just can't.
And what is it? Progressive grit sandpaper?
Yes, 800 hard block. Like I said, the whole thing, flat as you can get it. Some people can go down to 600. So we do 800, and then I went to 1200.
You go over the whole car again?
Again.
With
it takes me a day to a day and a half sometimes, just for one grit. You know, like a day and a half to 800. It gets a little faster as you go.
Is it a dry process or is it a wet? It's a wet process.
All wet.
So you have a spray bottle or something?
Yep, a spray bottle and buckets.
Yeah.
So I shoot it down, and my buckets are in the water. My blocks are in the water. And then we go to 1200 on this hard block again, the whole car. And then we go to 2000 grit, 3000 grit, and 5000 grit.
Wow.
But when I get to the 2000, I'm on my machine, because I don't have to flatten anything anymore. So I do it on the machine, 2000 grit.
Got it.
And then I fine tune with 2000 with a soft block.
Right.
Like this. Now I'm into the soft block because I can't change the shape now unless I, of course, run a heavier grit.
Right.
These grits won't change the shape.
Right.
So you can use that on it. Everything gets the next grit.
Right.
I like to go with 500 increments.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like a 2500 between that, but I use a lot of 2000.
And so this fender right here, are you all the way through the process with this, or what grit are you on?
That's buffed. That's done. But it needs a little polish and a couple little things taken out. You can see a little something there. See it?
Yeah.
So I'll go afterwards. I'll buff like this. I go back around the whole car again. This is 5,000 now.
Yeah.
And then I'll find anything that I can see, and I'll start right there with 1200 again, because you can't just go with 3000. It won't take that little bit out. So you got to go 1200 again, 2000 again, just another little spot, and then buff that little area.
Do you put clear back on in that spot?
No, it doesn't need it. No. Not
So,
with 5 coats of clear.
So with 5 coats of clear, you go through this process. How many?
Take a coat and a half off this.
You take a coat and a half off.
Always something wrong there.
Okay.
It's not very much. It depends on the painter too, and he did a nice job on this car.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have some fisheye problems. But this didn't. This came up.
Yeah. So people told me that if he's not swearing while he's painting the car, it's
Don't
turning
go in there
out. It's
swearing.
Right. It's turning out right. He didn't swear.
No,
right?
No, this came out good.
I had GoPros in there, and I haven't looked at the footage, but I didn't hear any swearing while he was painting it.
No, this came out. Where I came in and saw it, I said, nice.
Yeah.
You're always worried, what it's going to look like. Me as a body guy.
Yeah.
I kind of knew it until less than 6 months. So,
Oh, so you want to get the golden halo? Yeah. And lucky for me, you started on this car, right? That's fantastic.
I did that whole car, and then
So how long does this have to before you protect it, wax it, do any of it? How long does this have to sort of sit?
After it's buffed?
Yeah.
Before you can wax and stuff?
Yeah.
Right away.
Oh, right away.
Yeah, this urethane stuff is strong stuff.
Do you guys?
I mean, it needs to. The solvents need to cure it out.
Right.
But when I'm sanding this, it's curing overnight every time I sand it. You know what I mean? And you open it up all the time, so you open it up and it evaporates and dries out.
So do you guys ever? Wax it before they go out the door?
No, it's all compound, and we even glaze with the compound.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it can be waxed as soon as it.
Right away. Nice canola wax on it. Looks unbelievable.
All right. So no undue challenges with the car, right? When you got it, right?
No.
Mo did a great job on the setup work,
Yeah,
right?
he did. Line all the
That makes it
panels up
easier,
real nice,
not
yeah.
easier for you, but
Oh yeah, if the
less
panels
problem.
are lined up right and everything, that's the key, you know? Getting
Yeah.
all your gaps right and your panels lined up right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
oh yeah, Mo's a good body guy.
Yeah, it looks, you can't really see the beauty of this car right now, but this section that's done, but it's just stunning. I mean, it's
that's
stunning.
not even glazed. I just buffed that quick small. I didn't even see some fine scratches in it still. Just to give you a little idea of what the finish is kind of, you know, how flat it is. Not really shiny yet, because if it was shinier than that, then it's not.
Yeah. So, you heard it here. That's the process that we go through.
Yep.
Body shop whisperer, the body whisperer right here. Glenn, can't thank you enough for working on the car. And
no problem. I love it. I love this kind of work.
It's just it's artwork. It's great skill that you have. And thanks for applying it to this car. Thanks. All right, so the time has finally come. The car is completed up here at British Body and Coachworks, and I'm here with a number of the gentlemen that worked on the car. First, Mark, you're the owner of British Body and Coachworks. It's been a fun project for me watching you and your guys go through this. How was it for you?
We always enjoy doing people's cars, and our goal here is to make it enjoyable for the owner as well. We don't want it to be a stressful process for anybody.
Right.
And the whole crew kind of got a little bit of input on this car, and Glenn did a great job with the block sanding and buffing and wet sanding, and Todd did the mechanical work, and Mo, who's not here, did all the metal work.
Yeah,
so the whole crew had a bit of a piece.
Yeah, so we got some good footage of Mo going through all of the work on that, and of course you as well, Glenn, right, with all the sanding to get the finish on this car. It's just beautiful. You know, that's such an important part, right, of the car is the finish on it, and
definitely the fine tuning finish work,
and the time that you took and the care to, well, you and Mo, right, to get the line straight and everything.
It's a team effort, because if the metal work's not done good, the body work's not going to get done good.
Right.
The body work can't get done good, the paint work's not going to get done good.
That's right.
If the paint work's not done good, the buffing and finishing is not going to.
It all
like building a house, it starts from the foundation.
Yep.
Yeah.
If your foundation is bad, crooked, your house is going to be crooked.
Yeah.
So it's the same, basically the same thing with the car. So.
And I was going to do the rear end on this car, but once I figured out how heavy that was, right, and given the condition of my back, that's where you come in, right, and putting that all together.
I got to help assemble the rear end and some of the front suspension, and the mechanical guys come back after the paint is on it and put their stuff in and have to not damage anything.
Right.
So that was my role here.
Yeah. So good team effort in getting this whole thing done. Mark, what would you say to people who are considering doing a restoration like this? I mean,
if you're going to do it on your own, give yourself plenty of time. Don't lose your patience. Try to stay motivated. And just remember, it's like building a house. It starts at the bottom. If you do a lousy job in the metal work, everything else follows it. And if you're going to do a professional restoration, have us do it, or another restoration shop. Try to enjoy the process.
And what do you? So for people who are out there who are thinking about doing a restoration, thinking about buying a car and doing a restoration like this, what should they be looking for in a car? What should they stay away from?
Well, if you're going to buy a car to restore, you want a car that's been molested the least.
Okay.
So you want something that's as original, as complete, and with the least amount of work been done to it over the years.
Sure.
I say it all the time, but usually the biggest enemy of these cars is the owners that work on them.
Right.
And not all of them are the same.
Yeah.
The average owner really doesn't understand how everything works, and does things, fixes his wiring with a pair of wire cutters instead of fixing it. So So yeah, when you're buying a car for a restoration, try to find something that's complete, unmolested.
Yeah, and as far as the body is concerned,
you want to get it as nice as you can. We specialize in Austin Healey's, and the average bond find is going to have rust to the windshield.
Right.
But if it's a complete and unmolested car, it's much easier.
Yeah, and obviously I brought this car to these guys with the whole side was, I hit a guardrail with that. That was all creased, right? The front fender, I was in another accident with that, and they did that terrible lap joint on the front, and I had somebody repair the front windshield, which led to the water leakage inside and the floorboards going. So a bunch of things wrong with it, but I'm very, very happy with the way this turned out. I can't thank you guys enough for the hard work that you put into this car. And so this is to my daughter out there. When you inherit this car, these are the guys that made this car the car that it is. So can't thank you guys
and
enough.
you, because you're going to put it together.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But this is like a fresh palette, right? To build upon, and I'm just so excited to bring this back and start putting it together. Yeah.
And just remember, nothing fits. You have to make it fit.
Okay. Right. It's not going to go back together easy.
No, they never do. They never do.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
And so with that, Maggie's 6-month temporary stay at the body shop was now complete, and all that was left to do was to have her be escorted out of the building and pushed into the covered trailer for her car ride back to the garage. I made a total of 12 trips to the body shop, and I can't say enough about how accommodating the staff was in allowing me to interview them as they worked on the car. I really enjoyed working with these guys, and I'm going to miss seeing them in the next phase of Maggie's restoration. Now that Maggie's bodywork is complete, which will be the most expensive part of her restoration, it only makes sense to do a cost update and see where we are from a spend perspective. Now, those of you might remember prior to Maggie going into the body shop, I think we had about $10,408 spent to date. That was divided up between the engine, transmission, and overdrive rebuild, the front suspension rebuild, and the fuel tank replacement. Now, as of a couple of episodes ago, we had made 2 progress payments towards Maggie's bodywork totaling $15,000, which brought the restoration spend up to a total of $25,408. Now, for those of you who remember episode 11, link in the description up here, when Mark originally saw Maggie prior to her being media blasted, he estimated the body restoration to come in anywhere between $20,000 and $25,000. Now, given all the metalwork that was done on Maggie, the price actually exceeded that. But Mark was a man of his word. He actually lowered his internal labor rate to back into that $25,000 figure. That's just another reason, if you're thinking of having body work done, check out British Body and Coachworks in Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. So if you look at it, we owe another $10,000 on the body restoration, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out we're going to break the speedometer analogy that we have, and we're going to need another one. Enter the Bugatti Chiron. That's right, fans, we're going to move to the speedometer of a supercar to track the restoration costs on this project because they're that high. Now, this car recently set a speed record of 414 kilometers per hour or 257 miles per hour. Now, I don't profess to know what it feels like to hurtle down the highway at that speed, but you know what? It's probably as heart-pounding as writing out the checks on this restoration project. Now, the bar tab at British Body and Coachworks, the final payment came to $12,600. Let's take a look at how that broke down on the Bugatti speedometer. The final payment on the body restoration was $10,000. The cost to install the body trim and tonneau snaps from a parts and labor perspective was $1,072. The rear end refurbishment and installation from a parts and labor perspective was $1,328, and the car was transported back to the garage for another $200, bringing the total cost to date on this restoration project of $38,008. At least some guys are having fun on this restoration project. So now that Maggie has safely made it back to the garage, it's time to actually start her reassembly. But when you think about it, the project is at a little bit of a lull right now. You see, it took 6 months for Maggie's body to be refurbished, and then it took me another 6 months to create the 5-part body mini-series, as well as deal with some health issues. And so Maggie hasn't actually been worked on for a year. And God knows where mechanic Steve is. Rumor has it he joined a new racing team, and things aren't going well for him at all. The car actually went off track at Watkins Glen and sustained a bunch of damage. And so how, may you ask, are we going to get this project back on track? That's where viewers like you come in, and specifically a gentleman by the name of Robin Hicks, who hails from New Zealand, has been having back and forth email conversations with me about Maggie's reassembly. He has shared so much helpful information. He's got me now so excited to actually put Maggie back together. You see, Robin has a very unique history with MGBs. Back in his university days, he owned a 1963 MGB, which he rebuilt totally over the course of 8 years. Unfortunately, like most MGB owners, Robin sold that initial beautifully restored MGB, and he's regretted it ever since. Now, about 13 years ago, Robin was actually in the throes of his midlife crisis, and he had to decide between another romantic love interest or restoring an MGB. And thankfully for his marriage, he chose restoring another MGB because he actually thought it was going to be less expensive. Now, as the story plays out, you're going to find out that wasn't necessarily the case. Now, back then, Robin bought not one but 2 MGBs, one that had a rusted body, but the parts inside of it were good, and another one whose parts were bad, but the body wasn't necessarily that rusted. And over the course of the next 10 or 11 years, Robin took the parts out of the rusted car and refurbished them and started to do the body work on the car that wasn't as rusted. Now, Robin is a jack of all trades. He bought a sandblaster, learned how to sandblast. He bought a MIG welder, learned how to weld. He actually figured out how to do zinc electroplating and powder coating. Robin was very busy refurbishing all of those parts, and here are some of them. You can see he's redone the entire rear end. He's fully reconditioned the pedal box and cover and powder coated both of them. He's also fully reconditioned the heater box as well as the front cross member and suspension. Now, as Robin was nearing the part of the restoration where he was going to take the fully refurbished parts and put them in the body of the MGB that was in relatively good shape, he unfortunately found out that in the eyes of the New Zealand registry, he didn't actually own that car. Now, he tried to fight them over the course of a period of time, but to no avail. Devastated but dedicated, what did Robin do? He went out and bought a third MGB that had a relatively good body. He started to take those parts out of that car, and according to his wife, he actually took a running car and turned it into another wreck. Here's a picture of Robin in the present day. Robin presently has the car on a homemade rotisserie that he fashioned from 2 modified engine stands. He's presently repairing the rust on the front sills and fenders, and is also repairing a bad repair job on one of the rear dog legs. Once that's complete, Robin's plan is to continue to strip the underside of the car and replace it with bed liner. After that, while the car is upside down on the rotisserie, Robin is going to replace the wire harness, the handbrake, the gas tank, and all of those fittings underneath the car. Upon completion of that, Robin's going to paint the engine bay and the trunk, and then take the car off the rotisserie, put it on a specialized dolly, and drop in the front suspension, rear suspension, the engine, and the transmission. Robin, what a journey you have been on. It's an inspiration just to have listened to your story. And as I said before, it just makes me so inspired to complete the reassembly of Maggie. Thanks for sharing your story, Robin, and Godspeed to you on finishing your project. As Robin was nearing the part where he was going to take the fully refurbished parts and put them in the body of the other MGB, he found out in the eyes of the New England, it's not New England, it's New Zealand. So I learned so much about how an MGB body is restored, and I've passed those lessons learned along to viewers like you. And what was that noise upstairs? My wife must have dropped something. So that's a wrap for this episode of Maggie's Makeover and the 5-part body restoration mini-series. You know, over the course of the 6 months where Maggie's body was being restored, I learned so much about that process, and hopefully I've passed those lessons along to viewers like you so that should you decide to have your MGB body restored, you'll be smarter for it. Now, we're actually at a very interesting juncture at Maggie's Makeover because I have no content for an upcoming episode. So what are we going to do about that? We're going to take the inspiration from Robin Hicks and we're going to start restoring some of the parts that have to go back into Maggie. For example, here's Maggie's pedal box. This is kind of grimy and grubby. The clutch cylinder and the master brake cylinder have to be replaced. This has got to be sandblasted and repainted. We'll be doing an episode on that. As well as, this is Maggie's heater box. Don't get the antifreeze on you, Studio Steve. This thing has to be disassembled, sandblasted, repainted, and put back together. We'll be doing an episode on that. And then lastly, one other episode that we're considering doing is where I actually teach my daughter, Sarah Sarabian, who's going to inherit Maggie. I teach her how to actually drive an MGB using my 1971 MGB called Morris. So lots of fun things coming up. We appreciate you tuning in, and until our next episode, happy motoring.